Welcome to Skull Records Radio. Tonight we have on the phone with us Mike from VoiVod. How you doing tonight, Mike?
I'm good. Thanks a lot. How are you?
Doing pretty good. What's the weather like up there in Canada?
It's a very nice summer here. It's actually pretty warm for Canada.
Awesome, awesome. So I just got a copy from Earsplit of the new CD, and I'm really liking it a lot. That's good stuff.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You guys have a new studio album coming out, it says, in 2012?
Well, we're aiming for recording during the winter, and we hope to have a studio album out by the spring so we can tour again.
Awesome. Yeah, we love that live CD. Where was that recorded at?
It was recorded for some kind of Christmas holiday show in Montreal in 2009, and it was released only this year, and sort of to have something to chew on in between studio albums, so to speak, and actually, since this album has been released, we've wrote a bunch of new songs, and one of which we perform live now, and so yeah, I mean it's something that came out really good. The live album, it was recorded by Glenn Robinson. He worked with us on a few occasions on 14 Infini and also Nothing Face, and so yeah, we're pretty happy with the result.
Yeah, I had a copy of Nothing Face. I'm actually a fan from all the way back. I had your vinyl when you only had War and Pain out in like the early 80s, mid 80s.
Oh, nice. Actually, War and Pain just came out again on vinyl on War on Music, which is a great thing. Awesome.
What label were you guys on back when it was War and Pain? Was that like Roadrunner or somebody around? Or
back then it was Metal Blade.
Metal Blade? And you guys are on Nuclear Blast nowadays, right?
We are on Nuclear Blast in Europe, and well, depending, you know, like for the album we released in 2009, Infini, it was the last studio album that we released, but it was with Jason Newsted, and with tracks we had started with Piggy in 2004, and so this was on Relapse, but the new live album is it's on Sonic Union Metal, so yeah, we have many different labels for all of our extensive catalog.
Yeah, it looks like on a lot of the earlier stuff, at least, you guys use the same artist. Is that true, or am I just guessing?
The same artist?
Yeah, on your cover art for the album, it looks like the same person comes up with.
Oh yeah. I do all the art. I've been doing all the art since the very beginning.
Oh, you do it yourself? That's awesome.
Yeah. I still do it. Actually, I remember that the people at Metal Blade were really scared about the fact that the drummer was doing the front cover of the album when we did War and Pain. Yeah, I've been doing all the art ever since we started.
Yeah, I loved that that cover with the guy with the spikes and the gun and stuff. That was really cool. It's
like half science fiction, half like anarcho-hardcore imagery of like the Reagan years, you know, like this scared of nuclear wars and all that, and so still relevant, I guess.
Oh yeah, and it's still great art. I mean, I checked out some of the albums that you had in between. I had Killing Technology and Nothing Face. I didn't get a chance to pick up Roar, but I've been a fan of yours since the early days. So
people will have. Many of the albums have been off the shelves for a while, but people will be able to get hold of Roar Kinetic Technology and Dimension Hatros. It's going to be remastered and will probably come out for Christmas on Sanctuary Universal.
That'll be great. Yeah, I would love to have that on CD.
Yeah, so it's in the works.
So what was it like working with Jason? Did Jason Newsted? He was only around for the one CD, right?
Jason, we had a pretty long run with him, and he's such a cool guy. And around 2001, we split the band and didn't exist for a bit, and finally decided to reform, Piguet and I, with Snake, the original singer, and Jason on bass. So we did 3 albums together. 2 of them were posthumous of Piggy's departure, and yeah, I mean, we did the Ozfest together and toured with Sepultura and VoiVod, and we had a really great time at his studio, and he's a very respectful guy, and I have a lot of respect for him.
That's great. Yeah, our band warmed up Sepultura back on Beneath the Remains for a couple of dates. That was a good time. Those guys were really nice also.
Yeah, they're old friends, great people.
So how did you guys end up hooking up with Nuclear Blast?
With Nuclear Blast, well, it's just that when we, it was around the time we did 14, in 2004, we were approaching different labels, and for this particular album, which came out in 2006 only, we were signed by DN Records in the USA and Nuclear Blast in Europe, and so same for Infini. We except that for Infini we switched to Relapse in USA, but stayed on Nuclear Blast in Europe for this Warriors of Ice live album. They passed on it and are more inclined to release a studio album. So right now, the album came out in USA and Canada on Indica Records, but we are right about to sign a deal for Europe. So it's not out in Europe yet, even though we toured all the year in Europe and sold tons of the merch booth. So everything's good.
Sounds good. What are some of your favorite tracks off that live CD? What's some of the stuff you like playing the best live?
Well, it's particular because since when we reformed in 2008 with the original bass player, Blackie, and also with Dan Mongrain, who's the guitar player of the band Martyr, we decided to play the 80s thrash metal, except for a couple of songs that came out of Infini, because it came out in 2009, so we had to promote it, and it's really funny to. I mean, we really had to learn the songs again, and that's where I rediscovered Tornado, and also what else? Ripping Headaches, which we hadn't played in decades or so. Yeah, I really like these 2 songs. They're like more punk metal oriented and very trashy.
Sounds good. What are some of the influences that help you guys write songs and lyrics and stuff? What are you guys into?
Like like back in the 80s, I was writing all the concepts for the albums, and they were like very science fiction oriented, but also they were based on a lot of scientific facts that I pulled from Discover magazine and Omni magazine, and I would turn everything into some kind of conspiracy type of Big Brother 1984 type of story. And since the early 90s, the singer Snake is more the one who talks about what he wants to, and I would say it's a bit more street-oriented than space-oriented, and he also likes a lot of the punk material. So musically, we were influenced a lot by the obscure progressive rock music when we grew up, like King Crimson and Van der Graaf Generator. So that's a touch that we brought to the band that's different than other thrash metal bands. We also we were influenced by a lot of movies that came out in the 80s, like Blade Runner, so yeah, it's a combination of all types that makes it sound like it's recorded in a flying saucer.
That's totally cool. Must be kind of a shame and weird not to have Piggy in the band after all those cool albums that you guys had out. Is it kind of strange playing with a different guitar player?
Oh, it was very strange at first, and slowly became more and more natural. And I guess the fact that we are playing his music, because he was the main writer of the band, so it really sort of keeps him in the band. It's like he's on tour with us, or I don't know. I guess we have grown more accustomed to the fact that he's not with us, but it will always be a bit strange. The hardest I found was to record the last two albums, because they were albums that we started before he was taken ill, so we had to finish the tracks separately after his departure. So, and I had been recording with Piggy for so many years, and when I was in the studio, he was always on the other side of the glass window, jamming with his guitar. Yeah. And so this time he was, like for the last two albums, he was not. And he was in my earphones, but that was a weird part, I thought, But as for the live situation, the guitar player Dan is really, really accepted, and we're not trying to insult the spirit of Piggy or anything like that. We're paying tribute to his music, so everybody's just happy that they can see VoiVod live again,
Oh, big time, yeah. I hope I get to see you guys live when you get back to the States again. I've never got the good fortune to catch you guys live, but I've been a fan, 20-something years. Our band Vacant Grave, who you probably haven't ever heard of, but we were on. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're trying to organize something so we can play in USA before the end of the year, but we're not sure yet. We played last year with Creator, which was great because we had done a world tour with them in '87 for Killing Technology, so it was great to get back on the road with these guys, and we did a big part of USA, but we'd love to go back this year. We're trying to organize something in the fall, but we'll see.
Yeah, I love Creator as well. I've met Melee, and those guys were really awesome when we saw them here in St. Louis.
Yeah, they're a great bunch, for sure. We used to record in Berlin, and Millie would come to hang out with us and for the recordings of Killing Technology and Dimension Hatros. We had a great time.
So you guys played that 70 Tons of Metal last year, right?
Well, we played actually early this year, that crazy metal cruise. It was such a fun time, man. I wish we get invited back on this boat.
Yeah, I'm going down this year to party with Pestilence and Coroner and stuff.
It's really worth it.
I just
really.
interviewed Patrick, and he told me I better get on there, so I went ahead and got my ticket.
Yeah, it's probably going to be sold out.
Yeah, it looked like there was only a certain amount of rooms left, but I'm looking forward. It'll be my first cruise ever, but I never really wanted to cruise because it was more of an old person thing, but this seems like a pretty crazy, awesome cruise.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And you get to hang out with the bands and all that, too, so it's perfect.
Yeah, we're planning on doing some interviews while we're on the ship and getting to actually toast a few cold beers with some of our friends we've interviewed on the radio but never got to shake their hand, you know.
I saw a few of my heroes play on the boat, like Raven and Saxon, so I was pretty happy. And Trouble were playing too, and I really like these guys a lot too.
Yeah, last year's lineup looked pretty awesome.
They even had Yuli John Roth playing some psychedelic stuff. It was great.
Yeah, I've seen some YouTube footage of last year, and it gets pretty cold here in St. Louis in January. I'm looking forward to getting down to Miami and getting out of here.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're going to stop in Cozumel again, but it's great too. There are some fantastic ruins there, and yeah, it's a great trip.
Yeah, I hope you guys get asked back. That would be a great time, you know.
Well, probably not next year, but hopefully in a few. Because I was told they want to do it in the next 10 years at least. So I'm hoping it's going to happen again.
Did you were you in the early days when Warren Payne came out? Were you into the cassette trading and the fanzines and stuff? Did you get into that tape trading era?
Oh yeah. That's basically how it all happened for us. It's through fanzines and mail orders and all that. And actually, all through the 80s, we answered personally to everybody. And then when we released Nothing Face with the song Astronomy Domine on MTV all the time, we sold quite a lot of, like maybe 300,000 copies or so, and so it started to be out of control letter-wise, and so we had to hire somebody to take care of all the mail orders. We used to sell cassette of live shows and all that, and all limited edition stuff. But it's all gonna be like part of it. We released on a couple of DVDs, but most of it is going to be released as bonus material on the Roar Kinetic Technology and Dimension Hatros re-release.
That'll be great. Yeah, I would love to have some of those old demos and stuff that you guys put out before you got signed. That's a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's it like up there in Canada? You guys got a pretty heavy metal scene, or you guys?
Yes. Yeah, it's very, especially in Montreal and Quebec City. In Quebec, you know, the province of Quebec is very metal-oriented. So, yeah, the scene is pretty healthy. Although I'm not too aware of what's going on in the Midwest in Canada. You know, I know that on the West Coast it's still pretty much happening, and on the East Coast as well.
Yeah, one of our fans gave me a question to ask you. Is it harder to get fans in Canada or U.S. or where do you think you have the most fans?
Oh, it has to be in Europe. Even in the 90s, when metal was having a hard time, first with grunge and then techno, and we were still going to Europe and playing big festivals. So we always stayed popular in Europe. We have more of an underground status in USA and Canada. and since we reformed in 2008, we started to go to places where we've never been. Like we went to Japan and filmed the show and released it on DVD, and went to Chile and Mexico, and on this tour in Europe we did this year, we went to Lithuania and Croatia and Latvia, and we went to Helsinki, where we had never been before, and I don't understand why, because there were like tons of people who wouldn't let us play because they were just yelling VoiVod, so it's not, so we know that now we know where to go,
Yeah, that's awesome. So what was the deal with Eric Forrest, was it, that was on vocals for a little while? E-Force?
Yes, Eric, when we split up for a bit in the early 90s, and we reformed as a trio with Eric Forrest playing bass and singing, and it was Piggy and I and Eric, and released a few albums. We we lost the momentum when we were touring in Europe and had a very bad van crash in Germany, and Eric was thrown out of the van and seriously injured, and we did release a live album after the accident in 2000, but at the end of 2000 we decided to split the band, and I know that Eric is doing well. He's in Europe, and he has his band E-Force. I think he released his third album, and he's touring over there a lot, so wish him all luck.
So what's the story behind the nicknames, with Away and Piggy and Snake? Where did you guys come up with that?
Oh, I think it's... of course, it was heavily influenced by Venom, because along with listening to new wave of British heavy metal and also hardcore like Discharge and Broken Bones and stuff like that, we really liked Venom, and they were like pretty revolutionary when they came out. I mean, only Motorhead were like that heavy. And to me, they were like the new Black Sabbath and very scary stuff, So I guess we're really influenced by them. And also, we knew that being French, we barely knew how to speak English at all, and the lyrics of the first couple of albums are pretty funny. And so when we knew that the names were like impossible to pronounce for English people, and decided to go for shorter nicknames. And I guess Away is because of the drawings I was doing and the concepts. And Blackie was because he was really... first he was always dressed in black and had dyed black hair, but also really... I don't know how to say in English, but always something always up to no good. And Piggy was chubby, and Snake was a skinny, long kid, and so we thought it'd be more catchy and more easy to remember. And but people soon started to say we were like the Banana Splits of thrash metal.
Well, from War and Pain all the way up to Infamy, what's your favorite release that you guys put out?
I think it's Killing Technology, because when we did Killing Technology, I was really into conflict and bands like that really were scared of the stuff I was scared of, and like war and destruction of the earth and all that. And Snake really was really into like Sex Pistols and Iggy Pop and Jello Biafra and the Dead Kennedys, and Blackie was heavily into Killing Joke and a lot of industrial music. and Piggy was still listening to his very obscure krautrock and progressive rock albums, and that's where we were really able to combine everybody's interests in one concept metal album, you know, and it was also a time where things were getting a bit crazy. I mean, headline news were like the explosion of Challenger or Chernobyl, and Reagan's Star Wars project with militarization of space and all that, you know. So it was reflecting all that. Also the fact that we recorded the album in Berlin, and there was still the wall back then, and it gives the album a certain atmosphere. So I guess Killing Technology would be my favorite.
Yeah, I love that album. War and Pain and Killing Technology are my two favorites.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm very proud of War and Pain because we did it for $2,000. We borrowed $500 each to Snake's mom and paid her back years later. But I'm really proud of what we were able to do in a couple of days with no money, you know.
Yeah, I bet she's glad she loaned you that money now, seeing all these years later you guys are still popular, huh?
Yeah, it was worth borrowing that money for sure.
Well, I guess whenever you get some touring dates, you'll have to let me know, because we play a lot of VoiVod here on the station. We get a lot of requests for it, and I know the kids here in the States would love to see you guys. Yeah,
if it's not this year, it's gonna be early next year. But we're getting offers to tour with other bands that want to pay respect to VoiVod also, you know, and so like Down or Fig Factory, or so eventually we'll drop by for sure.
Have you ever gotten into like Possessed or Pestilence or any of the deathy kind of stuff?
Sorry?
Have you gotten into any of the death metal kind of stuff, like Death or Possessed or any of that? Have you heard or listened to any of those kind of bands?
Well, I mean, the first European tour we did in '86 was with Possessed. It was just insane. Most of the cities in Europe, there was a riot. It was just craziness. But I really like these guys. But as for the early '90s death metal scene, there was an album by Obituary that I really like, with Factories, I think, on the cover. But I didn't really get into all the metal stuff that came out, because I was always, I know what's going on, but in all kind of metal scenes, but at home, you know, I'm very old school, and I will listen to Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and Motorhead, and Tigers of Pantang, and all the stuff that I really liked when I was like 16 or 17. But of course, I'm aware that Mastodon are great, and but at home I'm very retro.
Well, where can our fans find you? You guys have a Reverb Nation or Facebook or MySpace, or how can they contact you?
Well, yeah, I mean, Facebook. We have a page on Facebook, and we also there's VoiVod.com, VoiVodFan.com, VoiVod.net. There's a MySpace page, and yeah, we are reachable for sure.
Well, I'll start spreading the word about getting in touch with you for when you're in the States, because I know we'll have a lot of sellout shows here for you guys, because people are itching to see you.
Yeah, we can't wait to see our friends again, man, because we don't see them that often, but every time we go out on tour, they show up. I mean, it's quite incredible after 27 years. You know, now they come with their kids, which is great, and so it's actually like 2 or 3 generations now. I guess we have become a classic band, or I don't know.
Yeah, we're all getting old. I know that. I'm 46. I don't know how old you are, but I'm in my mid-40s. So
I'm 48 myself.
Yeah, so we're right about that same era. So
yeah, man. Yeah. And talking about the thrash metal, it was great years touring with Celtic Frost and Creator and Possess, and now it's still great to go and play festivals in Mexico or Japan with Forbidden and Testament and Destruction, and so I think that I'm very proud to be part of the thrash metal scene.
Yeah, Destruction's another one of my favorites. I've always loved those guys.
Yeah, I always loved the thrash metal scene because a lot of the lyrics were socially oriented, and these were the Reagan years, and a lot of the friends in the scene, in bands, were scared of the same stuff, and it was all Cold War oriented, but there will always be high-tech weaponry and to scare the shit out of us.
Oh yeah, we've got a show on here on Sunday where they talk about conspiracies every week. Different people talk about the government and all. We're mostly all heavy metal radio, but it's Craig LaCicero from Forbidden and a guy here in St. Louis, Bill Shields, and they've got a conspiracy show, and I Skype Craig in every week, so he's on screen with Bill, and
nice.
And they still talk about the conspiracy stuff every week. It's really interesting. They'll interview like John Schaefer from Iced Earth, or they interviewed Barney from Napalm Death, a bunch of big names, and these guys are all really into that, talking about that stuff, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't believe all of it, but it's great to write concept albums.
Oh yeah. I didn't know if I'd really enjoy it or not, because I only believe about half of that stuff. But I tell you what, they're really intelligent and really makes you think and sure. makes you listen, and they keep my attention, and it's hard to keep my attention,
Yeah, I've been. I mean, especially in the mid-90s, where I started to be online, that's where I really, the conspiracy stuff really attracted my attention right there. And I think it's pretty fun and stimulates the imagination, and it's I'm a big fan of conspiracy stuff.
So with that cover of War and Pain with the guy having spikes, do you guys, since I've never seen you live yet, you guys wear the spikes and all that stuff?
No, we did in the first couple of years, and eventually got rid of it. I personally was not able to wear spikes playing drums, and I was pretty happy with it. But the other guys had like all these nails and spikes, and finally, after I think it was in '86, we finally dropped it and became more street clothed.
Yeah, just a cool black T-shirt and some jeans. That's all you need.
That's it. I think Metallica helped to show us, because we're all trying to be heavy and scary, and then they showed up in jeans and sleeveless shirts, and it just seemed natural that it was the thing to do all of a sudden.
Do you guys have any reviews in some magazines coming up, do you know of, that the kids could maybe find to read about you?
I guess. I mean, I know there are a lot of reviews online. If you if you Google Warriors of Ice review, and but I mean, as for like main magazines,
sounds like the police are going by, huh?
Yeah, I live right downtown Montreal, on top of a subway station, so it's either ambulances or fire trucks or police all day long. but it's not as bad as in London.
Yeah, well, I'm out here in the country. We're on a couple acres out here. The radio station is, so if I hear sirens, I better run. Well, I'll tell you, it's been awesome getting to talk to you and find out about it, and this will actually, it's recorded where you can watch it, so if you ever want to do an interview on camera, I can Skype you in, and we can both be on screen. I'll put a link to this over on your Facebook page so the kids can all check it out. I say kids, and we're all in our 40s, right? I still feel like I'm 20.
Oh, for sure, man.
But yeah, I'll put a link over there for everybody to check it out, and definitely going to spread the word about your new CD coming out and about the live CD. We're playing tracks from that right now on both my stations. I own Metal Assault Radio and Skull Records Radio, and
Cool.
Metal Assault's 24/7 metal, and Skull Radio is radio you can watch. That's what you're on right now, and the kids can see me on camera right now. So
Nice.
yeah.
Cool.
Before we go, can I get a station ID from you?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, I want to appreciate you coming out and taking the time to talk with us today. I do want to apologize for my mistake of not catching that it was Eastern time for our interview, and you were nice enough to hang in there and let me call you an hour late, because it's never happened to me, and I've interviewed lots of people. So
Hey, it's no problem at all.
I appreciate it. For the station ID, I guess just if you want to use Away or Michael or whatever you want to do, and just say you're listening to Skull Records Radio, and we'll play that before we play your tracks every week.
Perfect. Hello, this is Away from VoiVod, and you're listening to Skull Records Radio.
Awesome. I appreciate the time, and you're always welcome back on the station if you guys have anything you want to promote. If you get a tour going on over this way, we're nationwide, so we can get kids in every state to know that you're coming to their state. So keep in touch with us through, we've got a Facebook as well, Skull Records Radio, or you can email me at skullrecordsradio@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to promote all your stuff. We can do a commercial for you for free. So,
Well, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
thanks again, and I'll talk to you in the near future.
Okay, cheers.
Have a good day.
Good day. Bye.